Hello! I'm back. I'm getting back into the Ecto-1. Been going back and forth between the Ecto-1 and the Millennium Falcon. I did a couple of Millennium Falcon kits, and now it's time to get back into this Ecto-1. And we're just going to real time this one. See how well we do. First thing I do is sort out my screws so I don't lose them. I found this little kit on Amazon. It was pretty cheap, and all these little plastic baggies have stickers on them. So I label both the lid and the bottom with those stickers so that I don't forget what lid goes where. But ever since doing this, I feel a little more organized, and I feel like there's less of a chance of me losing the screws. Hope everybody is staying healthy. Hope everybody is having as much fun as I am building their own. Oh, this is a new one. Well, you guys get the cherished opportunity to see me open up a new one. M-O. Or no, it's O-M. On the Ecto-1, the screws are labeled with an M or a P, depending on what material they're going into. So obviously all the M's going into metal, and all the P's going to plastic. Try to keep this alphabetical so I can find it. P. And if you remember, I am slightly weathering as I go. Slightly. Painting it as I go. The interior, I'm not sure. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about the inside of the car, but at least the engine cavity, wheel wells, the under chassis, all that stuff, I have decided was a 30-year-old car that needed a whole bunch of work by the time they got it. And so I have decided that mine's going to look like a 30-year-old car. And some of it will have been replaced. The wires and the plugs, those will be new. The battery I made look like a replacement battery, not the original 1959, because it wouldn't be there. Alright, so let's see. Oh, I didn't need to put the lid on. Excuse me. And here's our parts. And I'm kind of, with this kind of stuff, I'm kind of painting as I go and making it up as I go. Sometimes I need to go look online for some reference material to see what that sucker would look like, what it did look like. But other times I'm just kind of making it up. With this, I'm probably just going to dirty it up and then hit it with some rub and buff, but I kind of do that after the fact. I don't know, we'll have to see. Yeah. I might hit it with some rubber buff right now. I've been liking this material. This is makeup wedges that I stole from the wife. And I think we're gonna do some silver leaf. Here we go. Found that quite a little bit goes pretty far. And I'm not doing a whole lot. I just want to give this an idea that, you know, there's a little bit of metal. There's some call outs right here, and I just kind of want to bring them out. That's actually a little heavier than I was intending. So I'm probably going to hit it with some black afterwards. And this just kind of brings out some of the details and makes it look a little less like plastic. Excuse me. Makes it look like it was metal, but then got dirty. So I turned it over, and now I'm trying to wipe some of this off. And I've got some pretty good oil colored colors that I like. And I'll probably hit it with some of that too. I don't think you're going to be able to see the back side of this, so I'm not going to worry about it. But that is a little too shiny for me. So I'm going to hit it with the black rubbing buff. And I'm just going to go right on top. Well, hopefully you can see this. Turn the other light on. There we go. And this just kind of dirties it up a little bit. And that's pretty good for a first pass. Once we get it in there, I want to see what is attached to it. We'll see how oil splatter would have been. We'll have a little bit better idea of what it would look like. But right now that looks, you know, just a little bit less like plastic and a little bit more like a metal thing. And again, I can't say this enough. I haven't the foggiest idea what I'm doing. I am literally just doing what I think looks right. So this requires an EP screw. And what piece is that? That looks like that piece. Where do you go? Oh, you go. You go on this piece. Okay. Before I do this, I'm going to do the same thing with the rub and buff. I'm just going to lightly hit some of the edges. I want to go a little lighter than I did the last time. That's actually specifically why I like these pads, because I feel like I have quite a bit of control over what gets wet. And so now I'm going to kind of lightly go over the edges just a little bit, and just everything that looks like it might get some wear, get worn. And then this part, the plastic that they did, they're probably injection molds, and they have a pretty good metallic color, but it's not real. So what I like to do is hit it with the rub and buff the silver and give it one consistent metallic looking color. And then after we put this together and it dries a little bit, I'm going to hit it with the Vallejo wash, and it's going to end up looking like it got splattered with oil or whatever. It'll be nice and dirty. Alright, so now we need an EP screw. Whoever came up with the idea of having a magnetic screwdriver was brilliant. Brilliant, I tell you. Brilliant. I think every screwdriver should be magnetized. Did I say metallic? I meant magnetized. Anytime we're screwing into plastic, I want to make sure that they thread okay. I haven't had a tremendous amount of problems with these. It's the metal ones that are weird because they're self-tapping, so you kind of, the directions say you gotta go in halfway and then come back out, and then go back in halfway, you know, a little bit more, and then come back out, and you're literally tapping the metal as you go. And so you have to, you know, you back it out so you have room for that material to vacate. This has a little guide, so you know it's up. It's not biting very well, so I want to make sure that I stay upright. That's good. Alright. So then she goes there, and I need an IP screw. Started using these little containers because I kept forgetting which screws were what. All right. The blower unit. Don't want to go too tight. Just want to make sure it's snug. Okay, so now we're going to fit the power brake reservoir. The power brake reservoir looks like this. And it goes on something like this. Okay, and this they made a darker looking metallic color, so we're going to follow suit. And instead of using the silver leaf, we're going to use the pewter. And this is just a less fancier color. It's got a nice, I don't know, dull pewter color, but it still looks more metallic than their plastic does. So I like it very much. And my fingers get big enough to start covering things up. I got one of these little paint clips with the alligator claws, and I can't tell you how helpful this sucker has been for painting. It's got a little tray with holes in it, or you can put it in styrofoam, but basically this is the important part, and it's just little alligator clips, and my fingers being so big that it's not going to grab the way I wanted it to. So we're going to do one part of it, and then we'll move it and do the other part. Still, it allows me to hold it with a lot less grab than my fingers actually have. There we go. So with the rub and buff, it is a metallic, like wax-based paint. You put it on, and then you kind of buff it off, and it just has a realistic quality to it that I've been enjoying. I learned about this stuff from watching, well, there's many YouTubers that use it, but the first one that I saw was Adam Savage. And if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. And we're going to do the same on this guy here. And so every time I get a little glob on my pad, I try to scrape it off and go with as little bit as possible. And I think as long as I have the pewter on here now, I might go hit my wall with a pass just to give it a third dimension. Well, so let's do that right now. Not too much. I'm not sure how well this translates on the film or whatever on camera, but it does give just another color, and because it's a different shade, to me that translates to depth. Okay, now what are we supposed to do? I'm going to hold this in this orientation. I'm going to put this sucker on top of it. Oh, you got a little guide pin. There you go. Nice. I can't tell you how thrilled I am with how well sucker is put together. Because I am by no means an experienced model builder. In fact, this is the first one that I've done by myself. The last one I did was as a child with my father, and it was by no means as detailed as this. Okie dokie. And then, what is that thing? Oh, it's the master cylinder. I am not as much of a car guy as a lot of people, but I am. I'm certainly learning more than I thought I would about the motor. So let's see. That goes right there. Okay, but before we're gonna do this, oh, I see. It's keyed. It didn't want to go in all the way because it's keyed. There's a flat edge. There we go. That's better. But before we do this, we have to hit this with the pewter. And I am going to use the pewter on this just to keep it a little different. I go lightly. This I've already put on more than I anticipated. Just going ever so lightly around it. And I don't mind that I screwed up and got a little more on there than I wanted to. Listen, this is all black. So if I really did screw up and I didn't like how it turned out, I feel like I could just go spray paint it black and get it back to square one and start all over. But this is a 30-year-old hunk of junk, and my thought is if I did everything exactly the way I wanted it, I'd probably be messing it up. Okay, so what screw do we want for that? That is an EP screw. So we're going to put this back. EP. I pick one up and 5 come with it. I'm going to have to grab one of the 5 and then I pull the screwdriver away and the rest of them fall. It's kind of brilliant. Okay, find the flat edge, get it in there. I need a third hand. Now we're going to put the screw in. Thread it from the other side. There we go. Okay, so now I got my threads in. That works. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I hit it with the dirty wash. It hangs onto this metallic looking color really well, and it's translucent, it's a little bit brown, and it just looks like oil filth. which is what you see in a car. So it gives it a level of authenticity that I appreciate. I mean, you know, I put those away before I realized I was done with them. Okay, so where do you live? Okay, so you're gonna go right here. And all these pieces, they've got the little hole that the screw goes into, but then they've got a key slot on the other side. Most of them do, so that's kind of what I was getting at when I was saying that I'm not an expert, that it's fascinating that the engineering on this has made it so that even someone with my limited skill level can put it together and it looks good. And there's been a handful of things that I have either done out of order because I didn't read the directions right, or I did backwards, but most of those were, I caught it in time. And they were just stupid errors, but it was my own fault for going fast, that kind of thing. There we go. Picture made that look straight up and down, and now it is. Okay, so we're getting there. What else? The windshield washer. It's got the two pieces. And I think I'm going to do these two different shades to make them look like two different pieces. So I'm going to do the bottom part in pewter. I need more pewter. And then I'm going to do the top little cap in silver leaf. And I've been doing this from time to time because I think it tells a story. I think some of this stuff got replaced over time. And in this case, maybe the windshield wiper motor died at some point and got replaced. My first car was a 1978 Evergreen Dodge Diplomat, and had a 318 in it, which was, as I understand it, one of the smallest of the V8s available to go in that size of a car. So the good thing about that is that there was a lot of room to work in, and so I learned how to change spark plugs and wires and distributor cap, and I took a lot of pride in that thing. And you know, I took the air filter off and spray paint it nice and pretty. So the whole point is my point is that when you have a 30-year-old car, you know, and you've had maybe multiple owners, and you get different levels of pride when you open up the hood and you see different things been replaced by different people at different times. And you know, wouldn't surprise me if you had opened up the hood of a Pinto inside twin turbo headers, and you know, just different people have different priorities and do different things. So anyway, that's a long way of saying that things in this car in my head got replaced at different times. So that's just two slightly different shades, and it just looks like maybe that isn't the original part. Maybe, I don't know. Sticking with the EP. Get it nice and tight. I haven't actually stripped one of them yet. Maybe I'm jinxing myself. Okay, so now they don't do that picture very well, but we're sticking with the EP screws, and it looks like you want to live right here. Right now these pieces are standing out because they're too clean, so we're gonna have to rectify that here pretty soon, but I might wait until we get it into the car, because that's where it got dirty in the first place. So we need to make it get dirty in such a way that is believable in life. Okay. Oh, those are screws. What now? Oh. Alright. We need the car, which means my workspace gets cramped. This sucker is big. Okay. And I'm not gonna lie, she's getting heavy. And we're not even close to being done. It's gonna get heavier. Heavier. I guess we'll just leave you right here. Yep. So that's what I'm talking about. This is the metallic color with the wash over the top of it. So it just looks dirty. Looks like it was metallic at one point. So, and there was one picture in the magazine, but also I did some research and I found one picture online too of Ray, or Dan Aykroyd, leaning over the car and working on it, and he had the air filter cap off and it was kind of sitting on one side, and you could clearly see this red stripe on there. So it's another way for me to pay homage to the actual movie prop with this little red stripe. So, all right, now what? So now, got a brake reservoir hose. That must be this one right here. Maybe not. I think it might be. Yeah. Oh, maybe not. I see one hose already came off. Where do you go? Fit the power brake reservoir fluid line to the lift valve. So I see where it goes right here. But I don't see where you go otherwise. trusty dull tweezers. Oh, those aren't the dull ones. Where are you talking? I can see where it goes right here. Maybe it is this one. I'm gonna have to look closer, I think. Power Reservoir Distributor. Which is you down there. Let's check out the parts list. It is you. The brake reservoir distributor 27H. Oh, I'm sure this must be exciting for everybody. 27H. Air filter control pipe. 12. Alright. I'm gonna have to pause this and come back to it. It's gonna take me a second. Okay. Crisis averted. I figured it out. They just got 2 pictures for one task. So I thought it was 2 different tasks, but it's not. Okay. Actually, I've been meaning to do this for a little while before I get done with this piece. I want to get some rub and buff on it too. I don't even know if you'll ever be able to see this again. And I don't know about this guy either. But I spent so much time on engine detail. And I've covered most of it up. A little disappointing. I have pictures though. Okay, so now we're going to do this guy. Before we get her all the way in there. Gotta rotate this piece around. I think this is the year that I break down and go get some reading glasses or spectacles or magnifying glass. My youngest son got glasses. We didn't know. No one in our family needs glasses, but I felt so bad because after he got them, he just kept saying, "Wow." I was so surprised at all the things that he could see so well. I felt so bad that he was experiencing life not seeing very well. Oh no. Hold it off. Sometimes what happens with these little all their wires are basically just little teeny hoses, but they're not exactly wide enough to go on. And so what I've found is I put some needle tip tweezers in and kind of stretch it out a little bit. And so far I've been pretty satisfied with that. It makes the hole just big enough you can get it on, but then it retracts in time, and it holds on for dear life after that. Okay, so let's see if I can get this guy on before we get to which side of the steering column do you want to be on. Doesn't really say. So I think we're going to come underneath the steering column with this. There we go. Alright, and then you just kind of line it up on the peg, get a little bit of pressure, and then wiggle it back and forth, and try not to bend the hose, because once you bend it, it'll not go on anymore. There we go. I think I was going to do it. And, oh. Then, where did I see you? You go. Which side? You don't show me which side. I don't know 100% for sure, but I think you go here. Maybe. Where are you going to go for now? It's not a very tight fit, so we might end up gluing that one. Maybe even shortening it too. Okay, so it looks like on the back here they just have little forks for screws to go in between. Okay, what kind of screws do you want? Oh, those are the OM screws and then IPs on the sides. So I need 2 of these, which is why they give me 3. They're very good about giving me extras. What did I do with my screwdriver? There you are. And as with everything like this kind of stuff where fit might be an issue, I have learned the hard way to leave it loose. Don't put it all the way down in there yet. Yeah, now there's still some play. And what do we say? IP. I need a total of 4 of these guys. This is what I decided to spend my spare time with during the lockdown. Although I never really got locked down, the family did. But I've always been an essential worker. So I never got the 6 weeks off or whatever. Not that I'm complaining though. I am very, very, very happy to be employed. I know that that's not the case for many people. I'm sorry about that. And one more. Sorry. It's getting so big that I can't see what I need to see. Okay, so now we got that down. We're going to tighten these guys up. I'll call you good. And we got the bulkhead struts, which there's one here. Threads on one end. Okay. So let's see here. So we're going to thread this on. Oh, you know what? There's a nut on here that needs some detail. So let's see if my silver leaf isn't getting too dull yet. It's not. Okay. Just giving it a little definition. And what did I do with the strut? You guys are probably yelling at me through the TV, your computer screen, saying it's right there. And there's one right there. And use this one for now, and hopefully the other one will turn up. It's hard to turn. Not a whole lot of anything to grip. Man, I might need to get a pair of pliers. Let's see here. We don't need anything too beefy. We don't probably not need those. Just a regular pair of pliers. Normally I would like protect it, but on this I don't care if I get a little bit of teeth marks on there. It's just part of the story, I think. So the picture shows it threaded on there, just enough that it comes out the other side a little bit, maybe halfway. So that's what we're going to do. That's where we're going to leave it. You went right through there. You stop right there, and you get a screw right there. What kind of screw do you want? You want an HP. I still haven't found what I did with that strap. There it is. I knew it would turn up. Almost done. Is this killing you? Is it frustrating watching how slow I work? Can be for me too sometimes. But I'm having a blast putting this together. Gotta hit the rub and buff again. Just enough that you say, hey, there's a screw there. Let's see if the callus in my fingers are built up to the point where I can grip this time. No, I'm still going to need a pair of pliers to bust it through that plastic. I don't know if you guys can hear, but my kids are each in their respective bedrooms. But they're playing with each other. They both have computers in their room for distance learning, but they've got video games on there that they can play in the evening. And they're playing with a bunch of friends, and it's nice to hear them laugh and to play nice with each other, even if they are a room away from each other. But it's how they can stay connected with their groups of friends. There we go. And that part is done, but the very last thing that we need to do is these pieces are too clean. We need to dirty them up a little bit. The way we do that is we get out our trusty palette. And the color that we're going to use right this second, we're going to find it. There you go. This is Game Wash. Again, this is Game Color Wash Lovato. And Vallejo makes these washes. I'm going to put a couple of 2 or 3 drops in there. And then I'm going to put some of my dirty rinse water in there. And I'm trying to make it dirty, so I don't even care about having clean water in there. I didn't think ahead before it was time to do this, so I didn't get out a brush. We don't need a fancy one or a fine tip or anything like that. I am, however, going to get my brush nice and wet. And I'm going to wet down the parts too. And you can see that because the water is already dirty, the parts are already going to be dirty. And I'm okay with that. But now what happens when I come over with this Lovato wash, it just, I don't know, gives it some sort of an oil, dirty color. And I'll let this dry. And then I'm going to let it dry a little bit. And then I'm going to try to wipe some of it off. I'm going to do it again. And about 3 or 4 times, I will have the discoloration that I like. And it'll look dirty and then wiped off and clean. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to let some of this run down the back in the crevices. And I don't know if you'll ever see it, but I'll know it's there. And what it does is it just takes that fancy shiny chrome color, the silver leaf, and it dirties it up too. And instead of a pretty shiny silver color, we end up with a dirty brown, maybe little hints of rust. Anyway, that's all she wrote. I'm gonna hit this a couple of times and then I'll take some pictures for the end. Thanks for sticking with me this long. I sure do appreciate it if any of you do. If you have any questions or if I'm doing something different than you would expect, hit me up. Hit a comment on there and I try to get back to everybody. I think I might trim that one. Anyway, thanks for staying with me. Here we go and get a little bit of a close-up. Ooh. I don't know. I think she's looking pretty good. Autofocus. Sorry. You can see here I changed out the black wires that came with it. and replaced them with red. I took some phone wire and pulled out the copper center conductors, and then that left me with a red tube that was about the same size as everything else in there. And so the positive lead on the battery, it's got to be red. So anyway, thanks for stopping by.